Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Hello, my beautiful tri-state area. Welcome to our 175th episode. It's always such a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for listening and interacting with me on social media. That truly makes it all worthwhile. We're all over Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and Threads. Of course, we also upload on YouTube. Please make sure to follow us at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z, X-E-N. And also remember that all episodes of A Moment of Zen stream 24/7 on your home TV and Kathy Ireland's platform. You can always, of course, find us Sundays at 2 p.m. directly on our YouTube channel. Up next in our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. Today we're featuring 25-year-old Matthew Fernandez, born 6 months premature, diagnosed with cerebral palsy and weighing in at just 1.5 pounds. Doctors told his parents he would never be able to walk or talk. Well, he joins me today to chat all about overcoming obstacles, the power of a positive mindset, his clothing business, and giving back. In the Discover Your Potential segment brought to you by Keep the Past, today we're joined by our regular contributor, Dan Gilman, and he is joined by Gene Barretta, author and illustrator of children's books, and his brother, Bill Barretta, performer, writer, and executive producer of The Muppets. They're going to join me today to chat all about the art of storytelling and how the Muppets continue to maintain and be a household name. In our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, we're featuring Dr. H. Greenberg, also known as Dr. Vegas. He's a board-certified dermatologist and the founder of Las Vegas Dermatology. He's going to join me to chat all about ablative laser resurfacing, Carboxy therapy for skin rejuvenation, and how it's aiding the recovery and healing process. We're even going to get to check in with a few of his patients to get their reaction to CO2 Lift products. In the Express Beautiful segment brought to you by Skin by Sari, today we're featuring celebrity injector to the stars, Sari Katz. She's here to tell us all about Skin Vive and how, well, it improved my skin quality. You have to tune in for this one. Stay tuned for the Hydration with Heart segment featuring the incredible Matthew Fernandez, cerebral palsy advocate and influencer. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com. Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Coming up next in our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, today we're featuring 25-year-old Matthew Fernandez. His story has been one of hope and inspiration from the moment he was born. At birth, Matthew and his twin were both pronounced dead, while his twin John didn't make it. They resuscitated Matthew. He was a miracle. Born 6 months premature, diagnosed with cerebral palsy, and weighing in at just 1.5 pounds, doctors told Matthew's parents he would never be able to walk or talk. But 25 years and over 16 surgeries later, he is still on his journey of growth and breaking limitations. While there's no cure for cerebral palsy, Matthew continues to work to strengthen his legs, taking the right next steps to take his own steps. And he has this incredible can-do attitude in every area of his life. He's going to join me right now to chat all about overcoming obstacles, the power of a positive mindset, his clothing business, and of course, the importance of giving back. Now, before we dive in, I'm just going to educate our audience a bit first. So for those of you who are not familiar, cerebral palsy is a group of conditions primarily affecting movement and posture and muscle tone caused by damage to the developing brain, most often, of course, before birth. Symptoms can vary greatly from person to person, but generally consist of trouble with movement, coordination, speech, eating, and development. It's important to note that people with the disorder often have other conditions as well, such as intellectual disabilities, spine problems, vision impairment, and joint problems. Matthew is a shining, shining star. Welcoming now to the show is Matthew Fernandez. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now,
Matthew,
Matthew, you are quite remarkable. Not only are you defying all odds despite
the
the
doctors
doctors
and what they
foretold you, but you're raising
awareness
and you're really making a difference in the world
throughout
throughout your journey, all the while with a smile on your
Now,
face. Now,
you've been faced with
challenges every day.
How do
you keep up
such a
can-do
can-do
attitude?
and
And
how
how important
do you think
do
a
you think a
positive
positive
mindset
mindset is?
For me, despite of my disability, the only thing that keeps me going is that I never give up. Even though I have a disability, I don't let that define who I am. And having a positive mindset is having a great outlook on life and cherishing it with loved ones and making memories because nothing lasts forever.
I love that you're saying that. Now let's walk us through this. So now
I would
be
be remiss not to mention the amazing Charlie Rocket and his Dream Machine Foundation, since he is the reason why I'm interviewing you today. Charlie is a great friend of the show, and our sponsor, Once Upon a Coconut,
loves your
story.
When he told me about you, I just knew we had to have you on the show.
So I know
back in
2021
you met Charlie, which quickly snowballed into lots of exciting experiences.
Can you
Can you
tell us how you first met Charlie
and how he ultimately helped you start your own
clothing line?
Well, how I met Charlie was for my 23rd birthday. I posted a video, and I tagged him. Was one day my brother took me to work, and then I did a photo shoot. I was was standing up in my wheelchair, and then I tagged him, and then he saw it. He DM'd me, and then he said, "Oh, what's your dream?" And then I said, "Oh, well, my first dream is to walk on my own and to have my own clothing brand."
I love this story. It's amazing. So you met Charlie as a result of a photo shoot you were at. You sent him a picture, you tagged him, he saw you, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And this is great. I love this. Now, I know within just 5 minutes of the brand launching, you had already made $5,000 worth in sales. And within the first 4 hours, $250,000, which is mind blowing. So let's keep chatting about this clothing line. It's called Violets Are Kind of Purple. How did you come up with this name, and where did the inspiration to start a clothing line come from?
To me, what it means, it's all about how people see the world. Like maybe some people see it in like orange or yellow. Basically, the brand is all about perspective and how one sees life and the journey and uh and their struggles. Like me, even though I have cerebral palsy and I'm not able to walk on my own independently, and I also need assistance. I am working towards that goal every day, even though it's a challenge. I still continue to fight, and I have the fighting spirit.
You are a warrior. Every day you face these challenges and
Yeah.
you get up there, and you're one step closer to taking your own steps. Now, I know you've always had two dreams. One is to launch a clothing brand, and two, to walk on your own. So let's shift to the second dream, what you're really, really working hard at. I know you've been in an endless barrage of mental and physical therapy for the entirety of your life. Can you tell us about your current physical limitations and what your rehabilitation and strengthening process looks like?
Well, is I go to this wellness center called Rancho Los Amigos, and then in there they have adapted machines for people like with disabilities and stuff. And then also I have this life coach. Her name is Ami, and she teaches me how to become independent, like how to take off my shoes on my own, and like how to do pretty much how to do like practical things that one can do like on a day to day. But she has a disability herself. She has spinal bifida.
Spina bifida, yes, that's challenging.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she's teaching you from the
yeah.
right perspective. I love that you have a life coach
Yes,
that she
she's coming
herself,
from the right perspective.
yeah,
Yeah,
that she herself has a disability. That's amazing to me.
yeah.
And you speak rather clearly, I would say, for somebody with a speech impairment, and you are such a strong voice, and I'm so impressed with you answering all of these questions in a timely manner. Big pat on the back for you there. Now,
Thank you.
you're wheelchair bound and you have a
Yeah.
speech impairment. Is there anything else that you have a limitation with?
No, no. What I mean, getting around is because for me, I have to crawl everywhere. Like, I physically can't walk, so I pretty much have to crawl and get down off of the chair, go to the bathroom. No,
That's
no.
pretty independent, I would say so.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's a bit of a challenge for me.
I'm sure it
But
is. I'm sure you
but
have good upper
but
strong muscles.
yeah, well, I'm working on it though every day. It's yeah, it's a struggle, but well, the struggle is beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and you're doing a great job. Now you're so hardworking,
thank
and
you.
I'm sure it's tiresome, but it's so beneficial that you've been working at this for so many years because early intervention, right, Matthew, is so important, and that early intervention can drastically improve quality of life. And it seems like you have been blessed and surrounded yourself with some wonderful people too, which is equally as important. In fact, researchers have said that having a strong support system definitely leads to higher levels of well-being and better coping skills and reduced anxiety and even depression, and ultimately even leads to a longer and healthier life. Now, how important do you think having your support system is? And for those facing a disability, are there any specific moments or people that particularly inspired you throughout your journey?
First and foremost, my family and also God, like first and foremost. People who have inspired me throughout my journey is like my friend, my life coach, who's
Ami.
yeah, it's important for them to be around so that way they can like inspire me and cheer me up. Let's say if I'm having a bad day, or I could talk to my brother or my mom or my dad or my sister or my brother or
Yeah, so important. I love that you have that. Now, you also have thousands of followers online, and transparently you document and share your journey and spread awareness across social media. Through this, you've inspired countless people, and I know you've even since met and
Mhm.
been in contact with several well-known figures such as Nipsey Hussle, YJ Akon, and Mike Tyson,
Yes, I
right?
have.
So specifically, Mike Tyson, I know you were invited
Yeah.
over to the Tyson Ranch to meet him. Can you tell me more about how this experience came to be and how it was memorable?
How it started was Charlie took me to a manufacturer, right, called Bella Canvas, where I got the chance to pick out my garments for my shirt, right, and then one of my friends that used to work for Tyson, his name's Troy, and then he FaceTimed my brother, and Mike Tyson, he told my brother, oh, why didn't you tell me you have a brother with a disability? I want to meet him, and
Mike Tyson was genuinely interested in you.
yeah, him and his wife. And then what was crazy too is that I did uh, after I did a lunch at Charlie's house, I got invited to the Hotboxing podcast where Mike Tyson he does his podcast, and he interviewed me and Charlie.
Wow.
No,
I love that. You have done some incredible things. Now, this is just the beginning for you. Are there any great things on the horizon that you are excited about? What are your future goals and what are you doing with your clothing brand?
well, my future goals is first and foremost to get stronger and to get more balance on my feet and with like to be able to walk on my own and do things independently. Like
I have no doubt you'll get there.
with the clothing brand is I would like to take it to the next level. Maybe have have like my own clothing brand in Zoomies and stores like that. Like stores that are like well known.
You
Um,
want your clothing brand to be in a well-known retailer.
yeah, yeah, yes, like a retailer, like Zoomies and all that stuff, like stuff that is popular.
Well, maybe we can call Target and see if we can make it happen. Target, are you listening?
Yeah.
We got a clothing line that needs you to pick it up. Now, now as an influencer and an advocate for the cerebral palsy community, I know you use your platform to raise awareness. But what are some common misconceptions about cerebral palsy that you wish more people understood?
What I want to tell people is that even though that I have a condition where my body gets stuck, it's gonna take time for me to do certain things. I'm showing everyone that even though I have a disability, no, anything is possible if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, it'll take you
Um,
much longer to accomplish what
yeah,
somebody could do in a matter of seconds. I
yeah,
understand that. I understand that.
yeah,
And what I'm hearing is that you wish people were patient with you, to give you the time that you need to get to where you want to get to and understand where you're coming from. And I think patience is key. We are at the end of this segment, my dear. Thank you so much for coming on, Matt. It was a pleasure chatting with you. You are such an inspiration. And I thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey with us.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. It was a pleasure.
That was the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. And that was the amazing and inspiring Matthew Fernandez. He's defying all odds. He's truly a beacon of hope. You can definitely check him out on the gram at @amazingmatthew, and be sure to stay up with the latest drops in his clothing line on Violets Are Kinda Purple. You're listening to a Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
The Kelly Williams Show is brought to you by Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events. Tune in and turn on your happy. Kelly Williams is full of energy and incredible guests. Watch her anytime, free programming on Your Home TV network, and do follow her on social media for a chance to win monthly prizes. Check out The Kelly Williams Show on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Discover Your Potential segment, brought to you by Keep the Past, we're joined by contributor, podcaster, and regular host Dan Gilman, and today he's joined by brothers Gene and Bill Barretta. Gene is an award-winning author and illustrator of several critically acclaimed books. He's also animated several films for Sesame Street and created storyboards and character designs for the Jim Henson Company. Quite the list of accomplishments, and his brother is no different. Bill joined the Jim Henson Company in 1991, landing the lead character on the ABC hit television series Dinosaurs, and soon after became one of the core Muppet performers, puppeteering and voicing several well-known characters. Now, over the last 30 years, he's also directed, executive produced, written, and coordinated for many Muppet projects. They're going to join me today to chat all about the art of storytelling and why the Muppets continue to be a household name. Welcoming now to the show are my superstars and experts on the microphone, the Barretta brothers, and of course, Dan Gilman. Welcome, my friends.
Hello.
Hello.
I feel
Hi.
I'm really proud. I'm impressed with myself with that introduction.
Yeah, I had no idea, Gene. I had no idea what you've been doing.
Billy, we should talk more.
Yeah, let's call each other sometime.
Let's dive right in. You guys are hilarious. So you've both had incredible staying power, what we call as career storytellers. Gene, you've written and illustrated critically acclaimed books such as Dear Dear, Lincoln and Kennedy, Now and Ben, Neo, Leo, and Timeless Thomas. I love those titles. And in 2021, you even received, this is the most impressive of all, the NAACP Image Award nomination for your writing. That's a big nomination. And Bill, dear, you continue to play a pivotal role in the creations of the Muppets, whether you're puppeteering and voicing an iconic character like the Swedish Chef, or most recently writing and directing and executive producing. I mean, the Muppets Mayhem series. You are quite the superstar. Can you both share from your own stories a pivotal moment in your creative journey and how your paths have influenced each other?
Sure. Can I just first
think-
say that the best thing about the NAACP nomination was that I can now say I competed against LeBron James because he was also nominated, but we both
Right.
lost. So it's a good icebreaker if I ever
Yeah.
meet him.
Can I just start first for a second?
Yeah, take it away.
Only because I am the younger one, and so growing up, Gene was really the one who motivated everything we did creatively. So if he wasn't interested in movies and animation and the Muppets and all things creative, art, I probably would not be doing what I do because I was always a part of his plan, right? So if he wanted to make a movie, he came up with the idea and I was cast in it, and he would tell me to jump off the roof and die, and so I would do that, and or whatever it was, helping him do something. If he's making a clay animation, Gene would enlist the neighborhood kids and myself to be in these things that he would create. And also I should say that our family was a very entertaining family just to begin with. So family parties were all about, Gene and the older cousins would create these variety shows. And so I'm completely influenced by what Gene created and got, me interested in. It became just what I wanted to do because of him. So that's my 1.5 minute answer.
That's a hallmark moment right there.
Thank you.
Well, it's true.
Well, I guess, one thing I really took from Billy was that I'm more the homebody, and if it wasn't for him having the ability to just jump out into the world and take certain risks and get involved in things and show me an example of how you need to step out of your comfort zone, all that stuff I do would remain in my room. So I watched him and followed him to a degree when it came to letting people know what I do and pushing harder.
I love this story. You guys
Look at
amazing.
us.
Look at you. Now, I know there are many people out there listening who hope to emulate your level of creative success. In fact, according to a 2023 Ravensbourne University study, 43% of young adults are interested in working in creative industries. And to go even further, a new Harris poll suggested that Gen Z is the most creative generation yet, holding significant value in this notion. So it's clear that we're living in a world booming with creativity now more than ever, certainly with incredible additions by the two of you.
Oh, you made me think of something, Zen. When you mentioned all that about this next generation, this current generation, when we were growing up, when we were in our teens, doing something in the arts was such a rare thing. There's such a big difference now. Not many people went to school to be in the arts. Small percentage if there was. And if you told somebody what you wanted to do, it was like, oh, that's a nice fantasy.
Yep.
But
I agree.
Our parents were both, again, entertaining people, and I think back then you didn't follow some of those dreams that I think were probably more artistic or supposedly unrealistic. You got married and you had a family, so they gave up their lives so that we could, they would push us, I think, and they could live through us a little bit. My father still would say, because it was like, this is a big dream. You're going to Hollywood. My father was like, he would still say, oh, I was in my 30s. He was like, oh, you're still doing that acting, huh? So, it was like that kind of thinking a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads into my question. So are there any specific experiences that have significantly shaped your artistic vision?
I can tell you what led me to my career in book writing and illustrating. It was the Northridge earthquake of 1994, because I had moved out to LA, and I'd been through that. I was there for the riots and several regular earthquakes, and that one was just too much, and it really just threw me for a loop, and I left. And completely, my goal was to do similar to what Billy's doing. I wanted to be a film director, and I went to NYU Film School and the whole deal. But I just couldn't stay in LA, and I had to leave and regretted it for a period of time. But then when I look back, I think if I had not left and spent some difficult time trying to figure out what was next, I would never be doing the career that I think is ideal for me, because I'm still telling stories. I'm using my talents as an artist, and I work from home as a homebody would love to do. So
you got the best of all the worlds.
Yeah, and it would not have happened without some traumatic experience that really changed everything.
Well, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. There are no coincidences, and that earthquake was a catalyst to your journey. Now, let's shift to the Muppets. So fans, they didn't get to meet the full gang until the premiere of the original The Muppet Show in 1974. And since then, there have been a wide variety of films, TV shows, commercials, and even web series created featuring its characters. So long story short, the Muppets have certainly solidified themselves into history and pop culture, garnering a cult following and a legacy of their own. Now, in your opinions, how do you see the Muppets' influence on contemporary culture and entertainment as it stands today?
I think when we're trying to create things with the Muppets, we love the idea of everybody is different, and that's what makes them special, right? Is that they're not all trying to fit into one idea. And I think that's relevant to our world, right? We're all very different, and people think you're supposed to fit into a certain way or certain box and I just love the idea of continuing that message that being different is important, and that's what Jim would do. I didn't really get to work with Jim, but learning through the people that I've spent all these years with, he surrounded himself with different people, and not because they were alike, right? Or different artists, I should say, not because they were alike, but because they were different, and that would spark things that would create maybe a tension, but then turn into something new and surprising. And so I think overall, a blanket idea with the Muppets is that we continue to try and do that and not just fit in and be saccharine in some way. And we like to, sorry, go ahead.
I feel, and that's what's allowed them to maintain their popularity across all these generations.
I think so, is that there's something for everybody. A lot of people seem to think that Muppets are for kids. But we write for ourselves. We try to make ourselves laugh. And so with the Muppet Show Muppets, there's a lot of adult relationships and characters and situations, and the kids learn about that as they grow up. But until then, they're enjoying the colors and the shapes and the fun and the explosions and the silliness and the slapstick, right? So the Muppets are family friendly, but the perspective is, again, of course, from these oddities and these weirdos. Some characters are a little more cynical, but they're not too far over the edge. Like my character Pepe, he's a little bit, naughtier than maybe a Muppet would be considered that they should be. But that's okay. Gracias. I love you too.
So now let's take a broader look at this. Puppetry dates back to as early as the 5th century BC, making it an ancient form of storytelling. This is so important for people to know. And today, much of children's media opts for animated content, but the Muppets seem to find a way to master the art of puppetry while remaining relevant. But why do you believe puppetry continues to hold such significant importance for the younger audiences today?
I think because people know the difference between real connections and CG kind of created ones. There's a certain tactile feeling or something that they're, if you want to believe that they're in the real world, that's what we try to create. We try to make it feel like they live among us. And I think if your subconscious wants to believe in this idea, and you want to enjoy that, I think people prefer that feeling that, yes, they're here. I can touch them. I can walk next to them. I can be with them. Versus knowing that something's created in a computer solely and that's separate from you, right? It's not.
There's also, there are lots of puppeteers out there, or puppet programs, I should say, but they don't survive nearly as long. And I think a lot of that is because the Muppets are performed by an incredible cast of performers. They're an extra level, they're an extra step up when it comes to making these foam and fleece creations come alive. And we meet a lot of fans of the Muppets through our show and everything. And I meet so many who are in their 40s, 50s even, who have remained friends with these characters throughout their entire life because they feel so real to them. And they think they really feel that kind of same kind of connection with some of these characters they would a real human being. And the performance does all that.
That's a great point. You're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah, looking back at your early, I know we're up for time, but looking back at your earlier work, what lessons have you learned that continue to influence your creative decisions today?
Not being afraid, excuse me, simple things that happen during the day, like don't be afraid to stare out the window for an hour if something's catching your attention. And don't be afraid to not be a perfectionist with certain things. Believe that sometimes there's life in a project that hasn't presented itself to you yet. So open yourself up to what's happening when you're not so strict with it. Surrender yourself to it and let things happen. Don't be a control freak about it. That's helped me a lot.
I would say two quick things. One, probably the most important thing is listening. That to me has been, a tool that applies to everything. My characters, when I'm performing, really listening to the other performers and being in the moment so that it feels fresh and it feels like it's really happening. And maybe you didn't hear, each time another character says something to your character or to me, it comes out a different way. So you're going to respond slightly in a different way. So it's always something new, but listening is huge. It's really important. And then the other thing I would say is early on, I was pursuing my career as an actor. I never wanted to be a puppeteer. That wasn't anything I ever thought I would ever be. And so I studied acting, and I studied, the idea of interpreting dialogue through my behavior. I studied the Meisner technique with Sanford Meisner at the Neighborhood Playhouse in New York. And so that was my focus, right? Acting. And I ended up, my first big gig was this show called Dinosaurs, where I was inside of a suit and I never spoke any dialogue, but I did the interpreting through my behavior. And a little door opened because I met these other people who worked with the Muppets, and I walked through that door, a door that I never thought, why would I ever go through that door? So I think the lesson for me is never be afraid to go through any doors that are open or open for you, because you can always come back out if that isn't right for you. Just don't be afraid to take a step in, look around. Oh, is this good? Oh, I didn't know I could be a piece of cheese from France. I'll try that character. So, right, that's my thing, is always being open to things that you don't expect.
Can I add to that? Unless you're a fine artist who creates paintings completely by themselves and they go in a gallery and everything is just about your input, understand the importance of collaboration, because especially in my field, and Billy's, it's all about collaboration. Huge. And nobody wants to work with an artist that feels self-important and feels like they've got all the answers. And unless it's this way specifically, it's never going to work. You've got to let yourself feed off of other people, and people will feed off of you, and you'll find ideas you never imagined.
That's great advice. Huge. That's great advice. Well, we are officially out of time. You guys are incredibly fun to hang out with, very, very comedic. But thank you both for coming on. You guys are incredible.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Thank you so much.
That was Discover Your Potential segment brought to you by Keep the Past. And that was the talented brother duo Gene and Bill Barretta. Definitely check them out online at thebarettabrothers.com, or you can check them out on Instagram at the Barretta Brothers. And of course, you can see more of Dan by heading to discoveryourpotentialshow.com. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home Carboxy therapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the CO2 Lift Going Deep segment, today we're taking you on one wild ride all the way to Las Vegas. We're featuring Dr. H. Greenberg, also known as Dr. Vegas, a board-certified dermatologist and the founder of Las Vegas Dermatology. He's experienced in all facets of dermatology, including medical, surgical, laser, and cosmetic. Interestingly enough, he's also the half of the Derm Bros, which is a fun and educational dermatology venture with fellow board-certified dermatologist Dr. David Cotter. In addition, he's the lead investigator for numerous clinical trials and is a sought-after consultant and speaker for various pharmaceutical companies. He's going to join me today to chat all about ablative laser resurfacing, Carboxy therapy for skin rejuvenation, and how it's aiding the recovering process. Plus, we're even going to get to check in with a few of his patients to get their reaction to the CO2 Lift products. Welcoming now to the show is the incredible doctor himself, Dr. H. Greenberg. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Hey, Zen. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your having me on and being able to talk about all of these exciting things that we have in the field of dermatology.
So let's chat about this amazing product, CO2 Lift. Now, we know that carboxy therapy has been around since the 1930s, but the method of delivery has since changed, and it's no longer injected, but instead cleverly delivered non-invasively in a mask format. Now, when did you first hear of CO2 Lift products? And in your own words, can you describe how carboxy therapy functions on a cellular level?
Sure. So I attend meetings all over the country and internationally as well. And Lana Kerr, who's the founder of the CO2 Lift mask, I met her at one of the meetings and I saw this mask and I thought it was a little bit crazy and different. And when she was talking about carboxy therapy and how people used to inject underneath the skin carbon dioxide to bring oxygen in to clear out the carbon dioxide, and that improves outcomes, I was fascinated. And then seeing it in action and feeling it on my skin really was what made it so that that was something that we wanted to carry at Las Vegas Dermatology.
Now let's chat about laser resurfacing. Ablative laser resurfacing can cause a variety of side effects. Treated skin might feel like it has been mildly sunburned with redness, swelling, itching, or that burning sensation. And treated skin can become darker or even lighter than it was before treatment. There's also a slightly higher risk of scarring after ablative laser resurfacing. So, how do you determine when laser resurfacing is the preferred treatment? And when deciding between fully ablative and fractionated treatments, what factors do you consider?
Well, it's like going to the gym and there's 20 pieces of exercise equipment and you want to exercise and you're trying to figure out which one's going to give you the best benefit. There are a lot of different treatments and we incorporate CO2 Lift into all ablative procedures. So yes, CO2 laser, carbon dioxide laser resurfacing involves destroying tissue and then the tissue has to heal. But it's the destruction that allows for the healing and the improved appearance. I mean, we're doing all of these ablative procedures, whether it's the CO2 laser or microneedling or other laser therapies, to really, or radio frequency as well, to ablate the tissue, to cause that trauma to the skin and then let it heal in a way that, unlike if you were to go out and skin your knee unevenly by falling on the asphalt, for instance, we're creating a controlled burn, a controlled trauma, and you can get reproducible results so that when you do these procedures properly, you're going to get an outcome that's predictable. That will include redness and scale and crusting. In terms of there being pus or infection, that's not normal, but it does happen. That's a known possible side effect of getting any of these procedures. You can always have a bad outcome, but that would not be the normal. The normal would be redness, scale, irritation, dryness. And there are lots of ways after you've had one of these procedures to then get the best results. Among those includes applying a CO2 lift mask both before and immediately after procedure.
I love that you said post and pre.
So, in addition to CO2 lift being used as a monotherapy, it's also proven to heavily aid the healing process post procedure. CO2 Lift Pro definitely improves local metabolism and elimination of waste products, which helps the body heal localized damage such as scars and bruising much faster. I'm curious to know, how do you use CO2 Lift in conjunction with ablative procedures, and what significant results have you witnessed?
So I've had a number of ablative procedures myself, multiple CO2 laser procedures performed on my face, microneedling, Moxie, which is a thulium laser, and Venus Vivo, which is a radio frequency. All these are different devices, and there's a ton of different devices. And in order to best heal afterwards, sometimes we're applying exosomes, which are these cell signaling proteins. Sometimes we're using people's own blood, platelet-rich plasma. But after all of these products are applied, elastin nectar, hydrinides, hyaluronic acid, you can put on whatever you want, but the CO2 lift mask immediately cools the skin. And like I said, I've had multiple of these procedures done, and having that immediate cooling feels great because these procedures are very uncomfortable. And having that incorporated into part of the regimen, and people take home the masks and put them on themselves, maybe that night or the next morning or both, to speed the wound healing process.
Are there any limitations to your knowledge, or do you recommend using CO2 lift to all of your ablative patients?
All right. So limitations of knowledge, yes. I don't know everything, but I have a lot of experience with these procedures and with this device in particular. So I don't have any patient where I wouldn't use this product on them. The products has a combination of gluconolactone in it and ceramides, which are, nobody's allergic to those things, and they mix together to create carbon dioxide, which the mask keeps in the tissue, so that we spend our whole lives trying to breathe off CO2 and get oxygen in. So the body's trying to get rid of that CO2 by driving oxygen to the tissue. It really, in my opinion, and what I've seen and what they've shown, speeds the wound healing process.
I've heard your peers also compare CO2 lift to a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, which makes total sense because both therapies utilize oxygen in their respective process. But I think it goes without saying that using a non-invasive gel mask that can be applied in office or even at home is significantly easier than resorting to a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. Now, in your opinion, what are the primary benefits of CO2 lift compared to other skin rejuvenation procedures?
Sure. So it improves the amount of moisture in the skin. So that's something that you see. So the hydration is improved, and it makes the skin feel more calm or cooler. Again, these procedures that when you have your tissue ablated, and it's fractionated CO2 that people are doing now. Fully ablative CO2 is really difficult to control procedure, but people are doing fractions of the CO2 and fractions of these other devices as well. So you're not ablating somebody's entire face. But when your face is raw like that, it is super uncomfortable, and it burns, and you're losing a ton of water because your skin barrier is broken down. So by putting this product on, you're helping to enhance that skin barrier by bringing in some more hydration and allowing the tissue to heal.
Now, before we wrap up, I know you're the half of the Derm Bros, with the other half being Dr. David Cotter, where you work together to educate the community on skincare, skin health, and skin disease. I love the edutainment. Not to mention, you've flawlessly integrated social media into what you do best and inform and connect with your thousands of followers daily. So clearly, education plays a pivotal role in your career. Could you talk to us more about why being well educated on skin health and these latest skin trends and technologies like CO2 lift is so important in your field?
Yeah, I mean, we ultimately want to give our patients the best outcomes. So both Dr. Cotter and I speak for a number of drug companies, and whereas some people would say that you're selling out or this is a bad thing, I think it's an excellent thing because we're on the edge of what is happening right now. You know, I'll be speaking in Hanoi in November, and one of the cosmeceutical companies asked if I could speak on their product, and not CO2 lift. I mean, I've never been a paid consultant for CO2 lift, so I hope that the audience can understand that even now. I speak on products that I believe in that I think are really good. And in terms of like which products or how we choose, it's the science. It's what the data shows us. It's what's the best. We incorporated exosomes into our practice, not immediately, but I was at a meeting in Bangkok in October of this past year. And when I was there and saw which exosomes the different physicians were using, and those are these cell signaling proteins from human fat. They're also from human platelets and from umbilical cord. Then I decided to incorporate a certain brand into our practice. But by interacting with my fellow colleagues across the world and going to these meetings and reading about what the updated trends are, we can provide the best services at Las Vegas Dermatology.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Greenberg. Now, let's check out what some of your patients have to say about CO2 lift. Let's dive right in.
My name is Lou Zacharias Teves. I'm Gen X. I'm in my 40s, and I did microneedling.
What's the main reason you visit Dr. Greenberg at Las Vegas Dermatology, and what is your most important consideration when evaluating skincare treatments?
It's pretty much for my pigmentation. As Gen X, fine lines is always the issue, and wrinkles, and of course the texture of my face.
Have you ever heard of Carboxy therapy for skin rejuvenation before? If so, what do you know about it?
Yes, I did, but never tried it. I've seen it on the TV. I've seen it on the advertisement, and they have it here. It's all over Las Vegas Dermatology, but I just need to try them.
What were you expecting from this CO2 lift treatment?
Right now, I feel like that I'm inside the microwave, so it's hot. My face, it's so warm, and I'm expecting it to be like I'm inside the freezer, maybe after that treatment.
How has using the CO2 lift mask before or after your procedure improved your recovery and results?
It helped really good. It's a relief because, like I said in the first interview, that before the mask, it feels like that I was inside the microwave. Now, after the mask, it's a relief because it feels like that I'm inside the fridge.
How does the mask feel on your skin?
It feels really good right now. I feel so comfortable.
Is this a mask you would use again for post-treatment healing?
Absolutely. And I recommend it to everybody when they do procedures. It's really a good help after it's the post-op.
That was our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, and that was the amazing Dr. H. Greenberg, also known as Dr. Vegas, board-certified dermatologist and founder of Las Vegas Dermatology. You could head to lasvegasdermatology.com to learn more, and definitely check him out on the gram at LVDerm or at HL Greenberg, and of course at Vegas Derm Bros. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. That was our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home Carboxy therapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Are you looking to build a new home? Think about building a barn-dominium. There's just something about getting away from it all. Country living, fresh air, and outdoor entertainment. Watch luxury barn-dominium tours on Your Home TV and let Stacy Lynn, the barn-dominium lady, take you on a journey through her barn-dominium designs.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Hi, I'm Sari Katz with this week's beautiful segment for A Moment of Zen. Did you know that 47 million consumers nationwide are concerned about their skin quality and feel that their skin looks dull and lacks glow? Well, there's a brand new first of its kind product on the market in the US called SkinVive by Allergan. SkinVive is a microdroplet injectable hyaluronic acid that goes into the deeper layers of the skin to help improve the skin quality for up to 6 months. How does it work? Well, it increases a protein called aquaporin 3 that helps upregulate the flow of water into and out of our cells to keep our skin looking hydrated and smooth. It helps with fine lines, pore size, skin redness, and the overall radiance of our skin. It also helps with shallow acne marks. So people are loving this product. It's good for anybody with any skin background at any time. And it is not a filler. It is not going to increase the size or volume of our tissues. So if you're interested in looking airbrushed and filtered all of the time, ask your provider about this internal moisturizer called SkinVive. This is Sari Katz for a beautiful segment on A Moment of Zen.
A Moment of Zen is sponsored by FinTech TV.
FinTech TV, the newest streaming channel focused exclusively on the business of blockchain, digital assets, and sustainability. Broadcasting from our studio on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with daily reports from NASDAQ, global expansion, and 24/7 coverage. Become part of the launch. Head to fintech.tv/invest. Fintech.tv/invest.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV.
Hi, this is Kathy Ireland here on A Moment of Zen, brought to you by Your Home TV. We've developed an all-inclusive subscription-free network that you're going to love, whether it's financial freedom, fashion, beauty, health and wellness, wonderful weddings, travel and culture, cooking, entertainment, and short-form documentaries, programming for everyone. Classic films and new shows, including Kathy Ireland Presents American Dreams. We've developed this network just for you. Please check out yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m., YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland Worldwide streaming platform. You could head directly to mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to us. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember that happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. We'll be back next week.